And I think that we must pay what needs to be paid. I don't think we ought to waste any money and survival on an untried mission to an unknown celestial body.
Killed one, killed one. Got him.
This other gun can hit too.
How's it going, guys? My name is Lucky Hoot, and today we are talking about the game Sand Raiders of Sophie. This is an action-packed MMORPG survival game and an extraction shooter set on the planet Sophie. You and your crew of up to 6 players land on the planet in your custom-built base/vehicle called the Trampler. This vehicle will help you cross the sands in either Storm Drive mode or Voyage mode, both offering their own unique, interesting gameplay formats. Storm Drive is more like a battle royale mixed with an extraction, where you're constantly fighting to stay inside the eye of a circle while fending off against other tramplers. The closer you get to the center of the circle, the better the loot. There are up to 12 tramplers on the map, and you have to fight to the end, and when you're in the last circle, the final extract will pop up, possibly being a dreadnought or a POI with rare loot. In Voyage, there's also 12 tramplers, but it is a persistent server, so it is constantly running and always open. Therefore, say one trampler leaves, another one will join. The map never shrinks, and you have an opportunity to loot the entire map for however long you want. So say you want to be in there for 4 hours, you can. Voyages are going to benefit you greatly since you're allowed to collect as much loot as you want for as long as you want. So this is going to be great for the tech tree, things like that. There will never be a dreadnought in Voyage, so high tier loot is more scarce in Voyage. That is why Storm Drive is your best opportunity to get high tier loot quickly. In Storm Drive and in Voyage, you may come across unique artifacts that help defend your trampler. For example, there is a shield dome, there is a shield wall, there is a bioemitter, which is considered to heal everyone on the trampler for a short amount of time. There is also a unique item that increases the damage of any weapon fired off the deck of your trampler. For example, your cannons or your gun. It will increase the damage. These can be beneficial. For example, if you're pushing someone, the shield wall you can still shoot through and cause damage to the enemy trampler, but they cannot harm you, depending on what direction you place the shield wall. Using these items in the correct way can really turn the tide in the fight against the enemy trampler in your favor. Just depends on how you use them. One thing to be mindful of when coming back to your trampler after defeating an enemy trampler is that if anyone is left alive on the enemy trampler, they can still run up to your trampler and get on it. If they make their way to the captain's quarters, they can steal the trampler from you, and you will not be allowed to respawn until you retake control of your trampler. If you're able to kill each enemy that's still on the ground, they will not respawn since their trampler has been blown up. Just keep an eye out on your ladders or any way that you can get on your trampler, as enemies may find a way on and hide. Now let's talk about trampler customization. You are able to build your trampler however you want. Now that being said, I would recommend building an airlock similar to games like Rust or Engine Fall, where you're building an airlock so that way when someone breaks in, they still have a couple doors to get through. A time satchel or a grenade can blow a door open on your trampler, allowing the enemy to get in. You want to build as much doorways or blocking points so they have to bring a ton of resources to get on your trampler. If it's only one door to your captain's quarters, then they are going to take control. Maintaining a clear airlock on your trampler will keep enemies stuck in one spot and hinder them from getting into your high tier loot areas or your captain's quarters. Another tip I like to tell people, having your reactor high up on your trampler makes it an easy target for an enemy. Putting your reactor somewhere behind a compartment or tucked in on your trampler, say in the middle on the lower level, will protect it. Now, this isn't saying that it will always be protected. there is a chance that people will get good shots on your reactor. But if you can protect it for the most part, that is the main goal. As your engine stays alive, so will your trampler. Now, let's talk about the tech tree. You will need to bring out coins and crafting materials from your raids that are required for the tech tree to unlock different tiers of items. For example, some items will require you to have black boxes off of enemy tramplers that you have defeated. Others might ask you for weird coral or coral chunks or a ficus or high-grade gunpowder. These things will help you unlock different items and different compartments you can craft or buy to help you in your raids. I have really enjoyed playing Sand Raiders of Sophie. It reminds me of the early days of Sea of Thieves, back when there wasn't really any quests, and you could just go out and PvP and it was enjoyable. It also reminds me of Rust. There's that interaction of, is the enemy trampler friendly? Are they an enemy? Do we fire on them? Do we have airlocks on our ship? Is all our food and materials in the correct compartments? It gives you that high survival, high focus. Are we doing the right thing? Are we building the trampler the right way? Do we have everything we need for the raid? I also like the weird interactions you can have. In solos, you might come across more friendly tramplers. I had a solo game where I had 5 friendly tramplers. A few that were not so friendly, and, everyone kind of took care of the ones that weren't friendly on their own. No one would mess with me when I launched green flares in the air in solos. If I throw a red flare up, that's a warning to somebody that, hey, if you get too close, I will probably shoot you. Or I use the red flares like, hey, there is one trampler in our group of 5 or 6 that are being friendly that is not friendly, so just keep an eye out, somebody might shoot at you. I like to use the flares to kind of communicate in solos. In larger groups, I don't expect anyone to be friendly. I don't expect anyone to avoid fights. I don't expect anyone to play by the rules in larger groups. In solos, it's kind of like Arc Raiders. You play it to the situation. If somebody's farming the crystals in the middle of the rocks and people are going for certain POIs and they're avoiding you, I would assume they're friendly or they don't want to fight. If someone's charging straight at you, it's a good chance that they're looking for a fight. There's no set rules to this game. I did say rules before, but there are no set rules. We kind of go by the rules of gaming where, if someone's kind of putting off a friendly vibe, you go with that. But play the game how you want. You want to be killing other tramplers the entire time, play it that way. If you're in solos and you're farming, throw a green flare up in the air. There's a good chance they might avoid you or leave you alone if you're trying to get certain loot for your tech tree or, certain loot for your friends when they get on later. All in all, I have come to really love this game, and it really brings me back, like I said, to those days of Sea of Thieves when PvP was like the main focus, and getting loot, not necessarily following quests or wanting to play by yourself to, just sail the seas. It brings me back to those early days when there was no option for PvE. You just were in the world PvPing, and you kind of based it on that. If somebody wants to fight you, they're going to fight you. If somebody's friendly, they're friendly. I like that organic, open world type of system where you don't really know if someone's going to attack you or not, So, play the game how you want. Enjoy it. Invite your friends. I highly recommend it. It is a great time. It is fun. It's always interesting. And it really takes that extraction shooter and brings it into a team format. You're focused on your trampler. You're not focused on what gear you're using or your armor, like Tarkov, your armor, your guns. You're not focused on yourself. You're focused on the crew. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please be sure to like and subscribe. I hope I didn't take up too much of your time, and I hope I helped you in learning about Sand Raiders of Sophie. I will come out with more videos and more tips as updates and stuff comes out. Please share this with a friend, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you.